Black man adopts a girl nobody wants. 28 years later, she does this behind his back. Derek was 37 when he first saw her. It was a cloudy afternoon during a local outreach event at the edge of town. Volunteers had gathered at a foster care picnic to play with the kids, hand out sandwiches, and take photos for brochures that never really changed anything. That's when Derek noticed her. A little girl around 8 years old sat on the edge of the field alone. Her shirt was a faded pink, slightly too big for her small frame. Her hair, light brown and straight, was tied into 2 short pigtails. She had light skin and features that set her apart. The other children laughed and ran circles in the grass, but she stayed on the sidelines, grinning at no one in particular, her fingers tapping an invisible tune on her knees. He watched her for a while. No one spoke to her. Some glanced her way, then looked off just as quickly. And still, there she was, smiling. Derek didn't know her name, but something about the way she beamed at the sky pulled him in. He sat down beside her. "Hey there," he said gently. She looked up. Her eyes were wide, sparkling with curiosity. "Hi," she replied like they'd known each other for years. "What's your name?" "Hello, nice to meet you, Laya. I'm Derek." They talked for 30 minutes, mostly about nothing and everything. She liked bubble gum, coloring books, and stories about brave dogs. She had a small notebook where she drew trees, and her favorite shape was a triangle. When someone called for snacks, she got up and ran off, waving at him without hesitation. And that was that. He couldn't stop thinking about her afterward. The orphanage director said Laya had been there since she was a baby, that she had Down syndrome, and most families turned her down right after asking what special needs meant. She was smart, they said, but slow. Loving, but unpredictable. They told him it would be hard, maybe even heartbreaking. Derek listened, nodded, and 2 weeks later, he returned with paperwork in hand. Everyone thought he was crazy. "You've never had kids. You work 2 jobs. She'll need more than love, Derek." But he didn't care. He had grown up without a father himself. Maybe that's why he couldn't walk away. Lee came home with him on a Sunday morning. She wore the same pink shirt and carried only a pillow with hand-stitched flowers on it. The ride back was quiet, but every time he looked at her through the rearview mirror, she smiled. His house wasn't big. 2 bedrooms, faded couch, a fridge that hummed louder than the TV, but it was hers now too. He set up her room with posters of cartoon puppies and glow-in-the-dark stars, got her a small bookshelf, and filled it with second-hand picture books. Every morning before work, he made her oatmeal and laid out her clothes. Every night before bed, he read her 1 story, sometimes 2 if she asked nicely, and every time she struggled, whether it was with counting numbers or tying her shoes, he sat down with her, never once raising his voice. Laya called him D. She clung to him during thunderstorms and asked him to brush her hair before school. And when the other kids laughed at her for the way she spoke, she ran to him at pickup time, holding back tears. He always crouched down, met her eyes, and said, "You're one of a kind, baby girl." That means the world wasn't ready. But I was, and that was enough for her for now, because slowly Laya started to believe it too. Some nights Derek would fall asleep on the couch, still wearing his work boots, only to wake up with a small blanket draped over him and a poorly drawn crayon heart beside his head that read, "I love you, D." He kept them all. Every note, every scribbled card, every shaky drawing. His wallet carried a picture of her holding up a birthday cake, teeth missing, icing on her nose. He missed promotions because she had doctor's appointments, declined weekend jobs when her school had music recital, though she rarely sang. But Derek clapped louder than anyone else, even when she froze up on stage. Their life was far from perfect, but it was real, and it was filled with quiet moments that stitched together something close to family. By the time Laya was 12, she could cook scrambled eggs, read short novels, and draw comics about a superhero cat that saved grocery stores. And every time someone asked Derek why he did it, why he chose a girl nobody else wanted, he'd smile and say she didn't need fixing, just someone to stand beside her. And he meant it, because deep inside he knew. He didn't just adopt Leia to change her life. She had already started changing his. 28 years later, Derek's hair had to learn, and incredibly bonded. Their first day of school was a spectacle. Cameras clicked, reporters whispered, but Al-Lima and Abdelkata stood protectively behind their children, gently guiding them inside. Despite the attention, they had made a decision long ago. Their children would be raised humbly, taught to value kindness over fame, effort over entitlement. At school, their personalities continued to blossom. Adama loved leading group activities. Umu quickly became the teacher's helper with her careful, patient nature. Hoa won everyone's heart with her gentleness. Khadija amazed her teachers by solving puzzles meant for older students. Fatuma turned every story session into a comedy show. Umar showed natural leadership skills during group games. El's drawings were proudly displayed on the classroom walls. Ba sprinted across every playground, winning every race. Muhammad sang the loudest during music class, his little voice pure and joyful. At home, Al-Lima and Abdelka remained the pillars holding it all together. Even though they now had a few full-time nannies and teachers to help, they made sure every evening ended the same way. Gathered together on the living room carpet, reading stories, singing songs, sharing dreams. Sometimes late at night, when the children finally slept and the house grew quiet, Al-Lima would walk from room to room, watching her sleeping miracles. She would pause, hand resting lightly on the doorframe, heart swelling with a love so deep it sometimes brought tears to her eyes. Abdelk, seeing her, would wrap his arms around her and whisper, "We prayed for life. And look at them. Look at what we were given." By April 2025, the non-Uplets were thriving, almost 4 years old. They spoke fluent Bambara and were learning French, reciting their first words and phrases with bright smiles. Health-wise, they were strong, though a few continued to have periodic medical checkups to ensure their growth stayed on track. The Malin government continued supporting them while also helping set up a special education fund that would cover their schooling through university. Yet, despite the support, Al-Lima and Abdelka knew the most important lessons their children would learn wouldn't come from books. They would come from seeing how their parents fought for them, stood by them, loved them without limits. The world, too, continued to watch with amazement and affection. What had started as a fragile miracle in a distant hospital had blossomed into a living testament of courage, hope, and unwavering love. As each child grew into their own person, one a dreamer, another a leader, another a healer, the Harvey family's journey stood as a quiet reminder to the world. Even in the most unexpected of circumstances, even when the road ahead seems impossible, love can create a future more beautiful than anyone could have ever imagined. And for Al-Lima and Abdelka, every day, every hug, every first word was not just a memory. It was a miracle multiplied by 9. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more emotional, dramatic, and unexpected tales. And let us know in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? We love hearing from all of you. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and keep watching.